Okay, let's do this.
Everybody share.
I wonder if it's strange when, I'm like setting this up and I'm trying to forward it to like my Facebook page and thing. People are watching. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Dollars and Cents. I hope your Thursday is going all right so far. We are glad to be with you once again. Shout outs to Billy Jane, one of the co hosts on here, right, from PCAL Financial. And shout outs to Keisha, or Keisha Johnson, also known as KJ, right? Um, she's a mortgage broker, and you're well familiar with both of them and what all the different things that we have been doing on here. The person who you're not seeing right now is Wade. Wade is in and out. He has different things he has to do. So whenever he comes on, we just jump in and take care of business. So last month, guys, we were focused on Black history, right?
Yes.
We we've now transitioned into March, right? And we have a different focus, right? Still geared towards the community, still geared, towards uplifting and informing. Even though we mentioned sometimes it's not all about the dollars, it's about some other things as well. Because if we don't take care of those other things, we can't make the dollars, or we can't,
That's
we can't.
exactly so true.
Yeah. So today we have a special guest with us, David Buckham. I'll get to him in a second, but just wanted to do these preambles. So we're dealing with health and wellness for the month of March, right?
That's right.
That's the community needs to be healthy, right? And we're gonna be talking to some individuals about how we can do that, and what are some things that we need to do. As a matter of fact, we even sort of preempted this month because we spoke about mental health, right?
We
Yes,
We
we did.
did.
we did that. So this is just a natural transition from that, even though we were doing a lot of things focused on Black history and Black culture and all that sort of stuff. All right. So with that said, to help us out today, we have David Buckham, right? I know David well
That's it.
because of this whole health thing, and also we're connected because of a church. But we really connected simply because we're into sports and exercise and all these different things. David is a collegiate athlete, or in his words, semi-pro, right? Semi-pro. He's not. That's what he wants us to say. But I'm gonna ask David to just give us a slight little intro, little bio. Tell us about where you were born, where you reside, where your school is at, and then we'll go into some other things.
All right. So as you know, I am David Buckham. Um, I was born in Kingston, Jamaica. I am currently 22 years of age, turning 23 next month. I go to the University of the West Indies here in Mona, in Jamaica, where I'm studying sports kinetics. I'm in my second year. This is the second semester, so a month or two before the semester is done. And as you know, I do track and field. I'm doing the 100 and the 200. The reason why I say semi-pro is because I run against professionals, but I don't get paid. So that's why I
Oh,
call it semi-pro, right? So yeah, that's a bit about me. Before all of this, before the pandemic, I was studying to be a pilot, and plans take a turn sometimes for the better. So here we are.
all right. Thank you very much for that. I mean, young man is being kind of modest, but he was well known. He was a well known. Well, I mean, I think they still know about him, but during the time that he was attending school in Toronto. He was excellent, right? Dominant in school athletics, and we were playing football. But he played um, high school football, and we were doing also some flag football connected to our church. So that's where the whole exercise and health and all that sort of stuff came into play. In terms of looking at health and talking about it, we're dealing with the pandemic still. A lot of things came out as a result of the pandemic. Mentally speaking, a lot of depression is up.
Mhm.
Um, in terms of individuals that COVID has been hitting heavily are individuals who suffer from ill health, especially in our community, whether it's the United States or in Canada, right? The black community or just minorities in general the COVID-19 tend to hit them kind of hard, and for the lockdowns and the restrictions, there was a lot of sedentary situations, right? We couldn't go outdoors, or even if it's going outdoors, the weather perhaps wasn't the best, right, for us to go walking and doing all these things. So you really had to push in order to stay in shape. And there's some serious problems that have come out of the pandemic as a result of that situation. But generally speaking, right, when it comes to health and wellness, right, our community tends to suffer quite a bit for various reasons, right? And I don't necessarily want to go off on a tangent, but I want David to talk to us about, himself being an athlete, what it takes to be healthy, what are some of the things that he has to do. He has to eat a certain way. I'm in terms of full disclosure, as I engage in this whole health thing, exercise is a regular part of my routine, right? The kind of things I eat, I subscribe to vegetarian slash a vegan lifestyle, right? Just to maintain my overall health, good health, right? So there are lots of things that I engage in, but David is on a different level, and I didn't want it to be about what my little bits are, right? You have somebody here who is really into it, doing it, competing against professionals. He has Olympic ambitions and all that sort of stuff. So we may not do it on this level for all of us, but I think some of the advice and the wisdom that he can share when it comes to being healthy and doing certain things can be helpful to all of us. Right? Okay, sir. So you said that you're a semi-pro and collegiate athlete, and you do track, right?
Yeah.
So what events do you specifically do? Is it 100, 200, for like what does that mean?
Mhm.
I do the 100 and the 200. The 200 being my favorite race, but since I've came out here in Jamaica, I haven't ran a 200 yet.
Hmm.
Hopefully this year I get to run it, but I wouldn't want to say I specialize in the 100 because it's only been a year since I've been training out here. So if I realize, they're making me focus on the 100 itself, then I can say I specialize in the 100. But right now, the 100 and 200 is where um, my specialties lie. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay, and in terms of okay, so we know the 100 and the 200, right?
Hmm.
So what do you have to do in
Yeah,
terms of
to
you
prepare.
know prepare for your race, or just being good at those two um, things, the 100 and the 200? Like what kind of preparation do you have? Talk to us. I want to know about as much as possible within the time that we have. Is sleep a factor? What kind of exercises? What do you have to eat?
Hmm.
Water drinking. I know people talk about the kind of sports drinks or all that sort of stuff. And also, if you can just keep in mind, also keep in mind too that we got the regular folks watching. So so help them to be healthy. Go ahead.
All right. So since it's, I guess I can just talk about leading up to competition basically. So
Hmm.
this goes for both events, the 100 and the 200. Firstly, most people will watch track and field and think it's straight 100% running. Everybody can run around a track, and be good at running. But what most people don't know, the sport is, I think it's 80% mental and 20% physical. So this leads into training. So let's call it September, October. We'd start a phase called base training. So base training is where um, you focus on getting your endurance up, getting your physical strength up via the gym, and lots of, we call it over distance running. So that would be, we call over distance anything over 200 meters would be an over distance run. So we'd be doing lots of 300-meter runs, maybe some 450s, 350s. But as sprinters, we mainly go not over 350. So do a lot of that. And then you have plyometrics work. That is a type of exercise. Normally, it's your own body weight you use as resistance. So plyometrics is like the bridge between the gym and the track. So the gym is to increase your power and explosiveness and all of those stuff. And the plyometric allows you to transfer all that you've done in the gym to the track. So, for example, I'm sure everybody knows squats.
I was about to ask you, give us an example of what is plyometrics, just to give us.
So, gym, this is just resistance in the gym. So, squats is a form of resistance training because you have the weight on your back and you have to push up against it once you get down at the angle.
Hmm.
So the way plyometrics allows you to bridge that, we have certain exercises. Let's say, let's use, we have this exercise called Indian hops. It's basically off of one feet, you get up, you get into your running position while you're in the air, keeping the foot you jumped off of straight, and then the
Hmm.
next foot in the angle. It'd be easier if I could show you, but I'll try and explain it. And you're just in a
Right.
running motion in the air. So basically, what you want to do is transfer the power from your leg to get up, and that how that blend bridges squats to the track is the power in the squats. When you go up, you push off the ball of your feet, and you get all the power going up quickly, moving heavy weight as quick as possible. So now, in terms of that, because you're in a running motion and you're using the power to get off the ground during the plyometrics without weight, when you
Hmm.
run, you're going to, it transfers over, as in you start pushing, you're putting more power into the ground, as we call it contact time. And contact time is like how fast you can get the foot down on the ground and off the ground.
Hmm.
And while you're doing that, you are putting more and more effort and energy, which gives you more feedback off the track. So the faster and the harder you put your foot down into the ground is the faster and harder it will come back up, which in turns leads you to running faster. So that's basically base training, called base training, to get all your strength and to focus on your technique and all the small stuff so that further down the line everything comes together basically. So after we're done base training,
How long did you say base training is?
um I guess it varies when you're competing,
Right.
right? So in, if we look at the NCAA athletes who do indoors, their
Hmm.
base training would cut off quicker because they have to run, they have to compete throughout the winter time. And
Hmm.
then I guess they would have another, I don't think they would call it base training, but it's like another small phase of base training before outdoor competition, because they don't really have that much time to transition from indoors to outside. But for us, since we have the weather, we don't have indoors, so our base training would last from, call it September, maybe I wouldn't say August because it was an Olympic year, so they would have August off.
Hmm.
So let's call it from September to end of January would be our base training. And then
Okay.
base training, you go into what we call speed training. So that
Okay.
is when you start running um, basically at a higher intensity.
Right.
So that would be our speed training. We do shorter distances and
So do you just transition from base training straight into that other thing, or do you continue to do base training um,
well,
a-
you
as you go through still, but not as
as intense.
primary? Right.
So we would still be doing the things that we do in base training as going to the gym and doing our plyometrics.
Mm-hmm.
We would have less reps or less sets. Um, the weights in the gym would increase, but the amount of reps that you do would decrease,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the closer you get to competitions, the less and less you go to the gym,
Okay.
right? So right now we're at the gym 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
As in base training, we are basically in the gym every single day. So
Yeah.
Monday all the way up to the end of the week, right? So
So, is there any particular reason why the closer you get um, to a performance that you would cut back on the gym? Would the muscles be too tight? What's the reasoning
um,
behind that?
the reason behind it is once you start going to the gym, you experience something called load. So once you're in the gym, your body, you will feel like when you run, you will feel how heavy your body is, right? So in when getting to competition time, you're going to want to lose some of that weight, not necessarily in pounds, but just the pressure that your body's under from all the weights that you've used up and trained with. And you get lighter as you run off the weight, so you get lighter. The less you go to the gym, the lighter you feel. That's how some people when they go to the gym, they get big, they look big, and then after a few months of not going, you see like they start to shrink down again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just is exactly like that. So we lessen the gym work to lessen the load to get lighter so we can run faster.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's why we have to lessen the amount of gym work we do closer to competition.
Okay.
So
So, what's your balance in terms of your I guess I don't know if I want to use the word diet, but your food intake to maintain to balance that the health aspect of it, and making sure that you're taking in the right foods that's going to, of course, help you to execute what you were trying to execute.
so I'm still young to the whole you gotta eat right, you gotta
that
sleep right, you gotta
that's
I'm
just his way of saying I still drink pop, but I'm trying to do better. That's it.
I drink soda like once a week. Once I've gotten better.
We have seen
Last
that
year I
too.
drink soda right through without even caring. But in terms of eating right, we need a lot of carbohydrates, so protein. Um,
Why carbohydrates and pro? I mean, we hear it generally speaking, but you're talking from an athlete's perspective. Why?
okay, how can I?
Carbohydrates give you what? Is it energy carbohydrates and protein? Is it helpful for muscles? Is it power? Like what's the
Okay, so carbohydrate. So just look at as this. Your body is a tank
right?
basically that uses energy up. So the
Hmm.
carbohydrates, the more carbohydrates you have, is the more gas you have in your tank.
Okay.
So the more you train and run off, you deplete tank, and once you deplete the tank, your muscles start to experience what we call lactic. So and then you start seizing up as you lose electrolytes, you start to cramp up, and that's just your body trying to tell you, you know, we're depleting. So you got to fill up in order to keep going. So the carbohydrates allows us to fill up the tank so that we have energy to use basically. And within those carbohydrates, we have proteins, fats, and we have one more. So there's three proteins, fats. There's something else that I'm forgetting, but in terms of proteins, the proteins is for muscles recovery and to get stronger. So once you work out, your muscles always tear. No matter what, your muscles are going to tear. That's just a part of working out. You're not going to feel the pain, but we have micro tears that when you work out, in order to build muscle, you got to lose, muscle, right?
Hmm.
So the protein allows your muscles to repair,
Rebuild. Okay.
allows it to get stronger, so you can do what you do. So that's why carbohydrates are really necessary. Electrolytes you use anytime you're sweating, you're going to lose electrolytes. So sodium, potassium, all of that just leaves out of your body because you're sweating. So you want a sports drink to recover with that, either if it's Gatorade, Powerade, you can look at the health facts. They have different, um,
Benefits.
not necessarily benefits. Well, some have more than what the other has.
Okay.
Right? So some people don't like Gatorade because they say it's all sugar, it's just too sweet and whatnot. So they go with Powerade and stuff like that. But in terms of getting technical about consuming um, all the nutrition an athlete needs, we have dietary guidelines that we can follow to make things easier. So it's like for a protein, it's a specific number multiplied by your body weight, and that gives you how much you need daily, basically, right? But an athlete would need a little bit more than the average person, right? So right now I take about 66 grams of protein into my body per day. Well, I don't do it per day, but um I do it as I guess as I need. So after a gym workout, I'll make a protein shake to get most of my proteins in, and then when I eat, I'll get the rest of the protein from natural foods, right? So in terms of staying healthy and eating nutritious wise, you're not going to always get all the nutrition out of your food because you're not going to be able to, always cook the amount that you want. You're going to have days where, you won't get what you need. So with that, we balance that out with supplements, right? Supplements gives us our daily vitamins, B12, all the vitamins that you can think of in a small little pill. You have protein powder to get the protein that you're not getting out of your foods. We
Hmm.
have other supplements called like BCAA. It turns the lactic acid back into an energy source for our bodies to use for the next training session. So there's a lot of things in terms of nutrition wise that we have to take in order to, maximize our performance and stay healthy as well. So you have athletes who can afford it. They have pre-workout, post-workout, a whole load of supplements, creatine, a lot of things um, play a factor in terms of nutrition.
Billy, you got a question?
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is, a lot. And you know what? I actually used to run track myself back in the day, like in university. And so it's very interesting hearing it. It's like takes me back. I did not do the weight training. I told them I'm not weight training because I was already let's just say I was sinewy. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I said, I am not getting bigger. I don't want to look like Gail Devers. So you guys go to the gym. I'll meet you at the track. But this is very interesting though. Just, what I'm thinking about is just that, just that preparation, you know what I mean? The preparation for your event, but also just talking about the carbs and stuff like that. Cause it's so interesting, as an athlete, and I loved how you gave the example of a tank. Now it makes sense why they always want you to, eat so much pasta the night before,
Right,
build up
right.
that carb reserve,
Yeah,
right? It makes
yeah.
so much sense. But I just find it very interesting. I think it'd be cool. We'll see what we can do for everyone in terms of who we bring out over this month and talking about health and wellness. But it'd be so awesome to talk to somebody who's very nutrition focused, because the whole thing about carbs is a big
Mhm.
deal. Some people are like, don't have carbs, you should have carbs, like that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So from an athlete's perspective, it totally makes sense, right? You definitely need to, bring up your carb base because that's your energy. But it's very interesting in how to balance it for those of us who are not performing at an elite level, right? And not exerting as much energy. How do we manage, the carbs? And I like, again, also how you talked about how you guys supplement and stuff. And that's something I think that we may all need to do. If we're not getting everything we need out of our food and based on lifestyle and stuff like that, some supplements can help to fill the gaps. steps, right? So,
Yeah.
I appreciate all of these insights that you share. It's going to be great for any elite athlete, who's tuning in today, right?
Hmm.
To get some of these tips, right? And how to prepare, and that there is so much preparation before actual performance, right? It's not like you just get out there and you're just like running all year round. There are things that you're preparing your body and transitioning till you get to that ultimate performance. So, I really appreciate the insights that you're sharing. Really do.
In terms of thanks for that, Billy.
Hmm.
In terms of what about other things? You mentioned Powerade and all that sort of stuff, and Gatorade, right? You
Hmm.
guys drink a lot of water as athletes. Is that
Um,
that's what they recommend? Like lots of water,
I
or
switched out the bottle that I was once using, but during base training, my daily water intake, you can basically just call it. I had a 5 liter gallon, right?
hmm
I had like a five
Hmm.
liter big bottle of water.
yeah,
I would drink it throughout training, so it'd be done at the end of training, and
mhm,
through the night I'd be drinking it as well. So I'd be halfway done before training even started.
right,
Um, the way to know if you are hydrated basically is the color of your urine
hmm
and basically how much urine you are um, expelling once you use the washroom.
right,
So you'll definitely know when you're hydrated. In terms of color, if you aren't taking any supplements, you'll see that the color is more clearish to
hmm
yellow, just a bit yellowish. You'll know that you're really hydrated. But it's hard to tell when you were taking supplements because once you're taking supplements, the color gets saturated, right?
correct, yeah,
So it won't be saturated, but you'll still know because you'll be expelling a lot and you'll be, going to the washroom, very regular. Like during my base training, I'd sleep 30 minutes, I'm up to the washroom again, back to my bed, 30 minutes again. It gets annoying, but
So I say, yeah.
it, it's it's really needed, especially with the intensity of my training.
hmm
So yeah,
Yeah.
you can calculate how much water you need. I know they say what 8 glasses a day, but
yeah, yeah. That's the general recommendation.
the
Yeah.
I feel like not everyone remembers 8 glasses a day. So if you can get a bottle that really like it gives you like the hours of when you should have, you know, where the water level should be until it's done, that would be the easiest way to make sure you're hydrated throughout the day.
Right.
That is such a good idea.
Mhm.
Someone recommended that I get that. I'm like, oh my goodness, it makes so much difference
So
in your
much.
water intake. Like, the bottle, it really, you don't realize how the little things, right? But it does make a difference. I mean, I was told, and what I was really advised, that I need to strongly increase my water intake. And I'm just thinking for athletes, anyone, it's just that the water, hydrates everything, hydrates your muscles, hydrates
Right.
your joints, hydrates everything. And so we don't realize how important water is to keep our muscles supple, helps to reduce injury, your joints, all of that, right? So, it's good. It's good that we pause to talk a little bit about water. I'm curious to know about sleep.
We're gonna get to that.
We'll get
And
there.
one of the reasons I like uh David emphasizing these things is because I want our audience to hear what athletes have to do, right? Sure, you may not require as much carbohydrates as he does, but you need it, right? He spoke about the gym and the fact that going there is important for him to um, do well in the events that he spoke about, right? For us just to function, in our everyday life, energy that we need, strength and all that sort of stuff, right? You need to go to the gym or you need to have some sort of exercise program as well. Um, so I'm just repeating it because I don't want it to be lost to where, well, I'm not trying to be an athlete, so I guess I don't have to do anything, right? I want the folks to understand that exercise is important. He just spoke about drinking water and a good gauge. We often hear this, check your urine. How clear is it, right? If you don't have any other factors that can throw you off a bit, it should be clear or close to being clear, right? When it comes to drinking water, hydrating yourself, it detox, natural detox, right? Um, you know, just keeping, like Billy Jane was saying, your muscles loose and fluid and all that sort of stuff. So water is vital.
And
Um,
even I'm gonna say
go ahead.
even if you're not an athlete, in terms of hydration isn't water alone. So I mentioned electrolytes. So even just a daily activity, if it is over 60 minutes, if you're doing a daily activity that's over 60 minutes, I don't really think it depends on the intensity, but just say high intensity exercise that's over 60 minutes. Every 15 minutes, you want to hydrate with a sports drink instead of water so that you are replenishing your electrolytes as you do the activity. Because once your electrolytes are depleted, you're going to experience cramps either in your quads, your hamstrings, or your calf. They can pop up anywhere. So you just want to keep hydrating every 15 minutes with a sports drink.
All right. Excellent. So Billy's question was about sleep.
Sleep. So,
He's young. Forgive him.
Right? You know,
forgive me. As
We're
sleep.
supposed to get 8 hours, David. Okay, let me help you. We're
yes,
supposed to get 8 hours.
as an athlete, sleep is probably the most important thing that many athletes don't even get. But in my defense, I'm also a student, so I have to find the time to do my work. If that means going to bed a bit later. All I would say now is I do not go to my past 11 o'clock. I'm not up. So once 11 o'clock gets around, I'll be sleeping. Sometimes my mom's ringing down my phone, but my phone's already on do not disturb, so I don't see the call till the morning because I'm already out by 11 o'clock. It's not enough, but it's at least enough for me to do my work, get some studying in, and then have enough energy for training in the morning.
Yeah.
But 8 to 9 hours, you will have the best performance during your training and competition, athletic wise. I believe for the average population, 7 to 8 hours is what's recommended.
Mhm.
So sleep just improves your health overall. When you're sleeping, that's when your antibodies kick in and fight off whatever you know sickness that you may be going through. That's when it's at its full strength, basically, right? And not if you move away from the physical aspect of it, mentally as well. Sleep just allows your brain to relax. Go on a low power mode and just help yourself rejuvenate for the next day, because we be stressed out from all sorts of things throughout the day, whether we have kids or not, whether you're working. Just being up and your brain functioning takes energy itself. So sleep is very important for relaxation and recovery. That's when our muscles start repairing at its best as well. Once we know our body's just at rest, that's when um all the health factors kick in terms of repairing your muscles from all the work that is done throughout the day. So sleep is very important. Get your 8 hours to 7 hours of rest. Athletes, get your 8 to 9 hours of rest as much as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that is good, and I mean, because I've been having some aches and pains in my own body, and I'm very aware because I'm caring for my mom who's got a lot of aches and pains in her body from advanced arthritis and things like that. So I'm very sort of conscious about it, and had the discussion about sleep and how important sleep is. And as you talked about with repair, right? Like our body, we don't realize how much healing happens during sleep, and we often deprive ourselves of so much sleep. And I understood too that there are different stages of sleep and what is repairing. Like I think, don't quote me on it, but I think the first portion of the sleep is healing body, and then there's another portion of sleep that's healing your mind. So if we're not caring for the amount of sleep, it can actually lead to things like dementia down the road, because our minds, our brains just really aren't healing as well. So I like that you talked about that, about the sleep and the importance of about the healing power of sleep. And it's no wonder when we pull all nighters, we feel sick the next day, because our immune system also needs the rest and everything. So yeah, no, this is really good.
I was just looking up something here, Billy Jane, while you were talking. And, you got all type of sources when it comes to recommendations and information, right? Uh, Talking about sleep here, it says as you sleep, your brain cycles through four stages of sleep, right? It says 1 to 3 are what's considered non-rapid eye movement, NREM sleep, also known as quiet sleep. And stage 4
She's
is
deep.
rapid eye movement. That's REM sleep, also known as active sleep, right? Or paradoxical sleep. Each has a unique function role in maintaining your brain's overall cognitive performance. That's just a little. So yeah, there. I guess generally speaking, people don't know that, or they wouldn't think about it. That you just sleep is sleep. You can get it at any particular time. For sure, some individuals do that. Some take these power naps. Some work at nights, right? And they sleep during the day. Oops. Um, but I was reading I think it was a CDC report, basically saying that those who work at night and they don't get the typical, sleep, proper sleep before that 12 a.m. period, right? So those who work at night, overnight, or whatever the case is, they are more susceptible to cancers. Right. Yeah, that's actually a CDC report. I wish I just triggered my thoughts here, as you were talking about sleep. But yeah, it boosts the immune system. The proper rest, within the time that is slated for before 12 a.m. The closer you are to 12 a.m., it's a little, because your body takes some time to actually, relax and start falling asleep. Um, Try not to watch TV before you go too close to your bedtime. If you know that you're watching something, just make sure you have enough time to sort of um, relax the mind, relax the brain, so that you're able to fall asleep properly. But those are some of the things that triggered in my mind when they mentioned it.
Yeah, do you get any like does your coach say anything about the time that you go to sleep? I know that you sleep by 11, which is good because I know that they say that you should sleep by a certain time, just as KP mentioned. If it's like midnight, then you lose some of that benefit. But does your coach, like, does your coach or coaches get on you guys about sleep and when you're getting to sleep?
Not necessarily sleep, but he always gets on, get some rest, guys, get some rest. So rest doesn't always mean sleep. He just means stay off our feet, you know,
Yeah.
just relax, stay calm, think about something else besides track and field.
Yeah.
You know, just tune your mind off and just keep calm and, most importantly, just stay off our feet because that's what, we need the most when we're running. So anything, because anything can happen like outside of track and field once you're not really resting. If we're walking too much, come back the next day, we're all sore and we can't perform at our best. Like just standing up, we could be somewhere just standing up for a while and you'll feel the effects of just standing. Like your hips will hurt, you'll feel soreness in your back. So, get some rest, just sit down, relax, and, chill out.
Keisha, you're on mute. You got something to say? Because I see you're
No,
unmuted.
no, I was just agreeing. I was just
Oh,
agreeing
oh, oh, okay,
with
okay.
everything. I mean, the whole, sleep. That's something that I struggle with in terms of going to bed really.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, as you guys are here talking, I actually do have a bit of a headache, and this is because the brain is not having that opportunity to rest, and it's extremely important because I mean, waking up in the morning tired is only one thing, or having a headache, but the long term effects, if we're not taking care of ourselves, health wise, in terms of getting that proper rest, it will lead to, as you mentioned, cancer and all that stuff, which is no longer hereditary. Once you used to
Yeah.
hear,
Right.
your mother's mother had it, or once it not, now anyone, is everyone is just popping up and having it. Nothing to do with, who had it in your family. So these are things that can lead to that if we don't take note to it. And yeah.
Yeah. But I like, I got you, girl, because I know it's hard being a working mom.
Mm-hmm.
taking care of your family, running your business, all of that. And we have a tendency to put ourselves last, right? So, we work and, we try to get all our stuff done and we don't get enough rest. So I got you. I can
Especially
relate.
in our
We're both
community.
working on it, right, Keisha? We're both going to work on that.
Yeah.
Especially in our community, right?
Definitely.
Because our parents came from wherever as immigrants, and they had to put that time and that effort in to make sure that we get the best life, the best education
Yes.
possible, and they sacrificed a lot, including their health.
Yeah.
And I guess part of this bunt is not just for us to enlighten and inform, but we want to break some cycles, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For our community, we want us to, start exercising, right? Um,
Mhm.
you know, don't repeat some of the things that we've seen in the past from our folks. Even if we've gotten some of these habits, right? We need to start breaking them now so that we can function better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
true.
and I wanted to just while we do have David here for the the last little less than 10 minutes that we have,
Hmm.
for those who are listening and are interested, in getting going down this pathway in terms of being an athlete. What would you say? Of course, someone who was born in Jamaica, yes, but migrated to Canada at a young age. What is the path that led you back? What if you're informing someone who wants to do the same thing, what would what would you say to them? How would you encourage them? Next thing you know, down the line, David, we can replay this, and we see him on the big screen doing that.
Right?
Yeah.
We had him here.
Yeah.
There's
So
that motion he was talking about.
yeah, so
That's
we're all about
right.
bringing knowledge and opportunity to those in our community. So in our last few minutes here, if you don't mind taking a few moments to kind of encourage someone, how what is the pathway if someone is interested in doing this same type of path, going through the same pathway in terms of athletics.
Funny story. After my last year, I took an extra year of high school. After that, I quit track for, call it, 2 years, almost 2 years, and it was actually KP who said no. After a bit, he's like, "Nah, you gotta, get back into it, whatever." But in terms of someone who's trying to pursue athletics, whatever it is, it could be basketball, football, soccer, track and field. It isn't, no matter what, the work isn't easy. You just have to prepare yourself for whatever um it comes with, right? It's gonna come with injuries. It's gonna come with, I wouldn't call it depression, but it comes with a low moment, especially when you're injured, and you see everyone else doing what they want to do, you're gonna feel terrible. You're gonna like, if I just did this, if I just did that.
Hmm.
So that's where taking care of yourself comes in, whether that's sleep, nutrition, um, you know,
Mentally.
mentally as well. You want to visualize a lot as well with what you're doing. Visualize your training before you head there. Visualize your competition before you head there. It helps transition everything that you've done. You know. Also, I know we didn't talk about recovery, but ice baths, massages play a key part into staying healthy. So get those done early on in your career, not late, because over the years you will build up scar tissues. I have a training partner here who every time he goes on the massage table, he's bawling and jumping off the table because he's got to get all the scar tissue scraped out by the masseuse, and it's not really nice feeling. But
Wow.
Wow. I'm like, you said you're 22 and
yeah,
already like to think about that, like start early with the whole
start
recovery because you
early.
think these are young bodies, right? And even still, you need to
Like,
be taking care because I guess you guys are pushing yourselves to a different level, right? So,
but like I think that's one thing people get wrong. Yeah, you're young, but you're not invincible, right? You can
Right.
still break
yeah.
down at any single time. So
Hmm.
recovery is very, very important. So massages at least once a week if you have it available. But if you can't always do massages, ice baths work really great. It speeds up recovery within your muscles. It's an intense first 3 minutes, and normally it's your toes that you're gonna feel, the most pain in for the first 3 minutes. But after that, your body adjusts, and
Oh,
10 minutes,
okay.
10
3
minutes
minutes is
max,
a long time.
10 minutes max. Don't spend more than 10 minutes in the ice, but yeah, ice bath
Wow.
and also heat therapy. Get some hot water, and you can either soak the towel and just put it on certain areas if you want. If it's just your legs, put the hot water, get a towel, make sure that it's covering your feet and the bucket so all the steam stays trapped. That helps relax your muscles a bit, because if your muscles are tight, heat will eventually allow them to kind of just relax and get loose and stay free. So
So
getting
sauna
into
sounds good.
yeah,
Yeah, I was about to say the sauna. Yeah.
recovery getting into it, recovery is going to be your best friend. Yeah, it's going to help you last and perform way better. So yeah, just getting into it,
Wow.
just prepare your mind. Like even this morning, I tried to wave the white flag, and my coach said that wouldn't make sense. Just continue. This morning I was in pain, crying, lactic. I just wanted to stop. He's just like, you have one more of this. Did it, get it done with, and then you have the rest of the program. So you just have to prepare yourself. You're gonna have days where you're not gonna feel like you want to go to training either, right? But you just gotta have that mindset. It's like, all right, if I don't go to training tomorrow, somebody's at training getting better than me. They might take my opportunity of winning or whatnot. So even in your lowest moments, get up, go to training. If you're in pain, there's other things you can do at training besides whether that's running, jumping, shooting a basketball. You can always work on your core. Core is like your most important. Your abs, your back, your hips, your groin, all those places. If you don't have those, strong, then everything else falls apart. So there's always a thing that you can work on, regardless if it isn't the main thing or what you love the most. So once you're getting
Wow.
into it, just commit to it and stick to it, and you'll see mass improvement.
All
That is
right.
great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That is
and
great. It's like KB, like seriously, like you touched on everything really,
Yeah.
from the exercise to the nutrition to the hydration to the sleep to recovery, but then also talking about the mind. He did speak, about elements of the mind, and I'm sort of thinking even like stress management, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
which is something, the elite athlete needs to be super cognizant of. But I think that like the message applies to all of us. And I'm even thinking, just me, like I am not that athlete anymore. I just need to get
And
moving.
well,
You know,
in a weird kind of way, that's why I wanted to start off with an athlete,
it's great.
and then
Yeah.
everything else that we touch on now. You'll
Kind of
remember
dig
this,
into it.
right? So
Yeah.
it would apply to everything that we do on a regular everyday basis, right? We're
Basis.
not running, we're not doing all the things that he's doing, but
Yeah.
hey, we need
I do
water.
my
That's
speed runs. Don't
right.
forget.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We got to find that video. KB, next time, you got to
Yeah.
kick us off with that
With
video.
that,
Okay. You need to kick us
I
off.
can't
with
do it
that
in the
video.
ice, but yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna do that. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, and just before we sign off and David leaves, David, just shout out your Instagram, your social media handles. Just
Yeah.
Instagram, it would be, I call myself Sprint Prince. Don't
The Sprint
Okay.
Prince.
yeah.
just keeps me, just knowing that I can be up there too. So
Right.
Sprint Prince
Right.
would be my Instagram handle. Facebook is just my name, David Buckham. So
I
that
Got a
love
really,
that.
little comment here.
Oh, hey, that's so awesome.
thank you, appreciate it. And I'm also on YouTube.
Okay.
So I made a vlog the other day, so you guys,
Is it what's
So what
just
is
your
YouTube?
name on YouTube?
it's the same as my Instagram handle, Sprint Prince.
Sprint Prince.
Sprint
Prince.
Prince.
Nice,
Okay.
nice. Documenting your progress and all that stuff.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I
Cool.
love it. Mhm.
So we'll put it in there as well too,
Oh
right? Like,
yeah, definitely, definitely.
so if anyone catching the replay.
Yes, yes. All right, so we're gonna sign off, right, Keish?
Yep, that's right.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
as you guys know, it doesn't change. We are constantly bringing knowledge and opportunity to those in our community. This week, we're, of course, or this month, I should say, we're touching on health, and we started off with a young potential track star. We don't know what tomorrow will hold, right? And we're here to, of course, support as much as possible, and wish him all the best while he continues to strive, right? All the best to you for sure, and I'm confident that some great things are going to come out of you for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, much success to you.
Much success. We wish you the absolute best.
All right, folks. So, we're, as a part of what we do too is helping you make sense of your dollars, right? We always gotta, I gotta plug that in there as
Yeah,
well,
for sure. Yeah.
or making dollars of your sense, right, Keisha?
Yeah.
That's But yeah, so next Thursday we'll be back again with as we focus on health, as we zeroing on the different things that we can do, that we should do to be healthy, especially now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Especially now, health is a big deal. Health and wellness is a big deal right now. All right, until next Thursday, folks. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now.